Ever walk into a print shop
Mhm.
and you get hit with that smell of fresh ink?
Yeah.
There's just something about the place that screams, like, we make things happen here.
Right.
And you know who's at the heart of it all?
Oh.
Making sure those amazing brochures and catalogs and everything come to life. The Print Studio Supervisor.
Okay.
Ready to deep dive into what they actually do.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So have you ever, when you think about a Print Studio Supervisor, what comes to mind?
I think of someone who's really organized,
Oh, yeah.
who can, manage a lot of different things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like a pretty hectic job,
It does.
a lot of moving parts.
It is a very fast-paced environment. We're going to get into the pros and cons in a bit, but I
Right.
will say that that is definitely a big part of it.
Okay.
So to kind of set the scene for our listeners,
Mhm.
imagine a symphony orchestra,
Okay.
right?
I like it.
But instead of musicians with their instruments, we've got these high-powered printing presses,
Okay.
and each one is playing a specific part in the process.
Right.
You've got your digital printers, your offset presses, your binding machines, and the Print Studio Supervisor.
Yeah.
They're the conductor.
I see.
They're the ones making sure that entire orchestra runs smoothly.
I love that analogy. Okay, so they're not just pushing buttons all day.
No, not at all. It's so much more than that.
Okay.
So they're leading teams, they're troubleshooting any technical issues that come up,
Right.
and basically they are ensuring that a client's vision, whatever it may be,
Mhm.
becomes a tangible, beautifully printed reality.
Wow. That's a lot of responsibility.
It is. It's a high-stakes role, for sure. Think about a time when you were blown away by like a company's brochure or a magazine,
Oh, yeah.
something that was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Just a good chance a Print Studio Supervisor played a big part in that.
That's a great point. You don't always think about the people behind the scenes.
Exactly.
But yeah, their work, it impacts our impressions of like brands and products every day.
Every day.
Right.
We're constantly, bombarded with printed materials.
Right.
So it's a testament to their skills that they can still make something stand out.
Totally. And speaking of skills, I was looking through that RoleCatcher career guide you sent over.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's great. And one thing that stood out was the emphasis on both creative problem solving
Yeah.
and those technical skills. Like they're listed as major pros of the job, which makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because it is this really cool blend, I think, of like left brain and right brain thinking.
Yeah.
So you're neck deep in the technical aspects of print production, right?
Right.
But you're also using your creativity to bring those designs to life.
Absolutely.
And speaking of tech, the guide mentions how digital printing is changing the game. What are your thoughts on that?
It's huge, right? I mean, think about how much faster things can move now. So
Yeah.
instead of waiting weeks for a print run, you could have these custom marketing materials ready in like a fraction of the time.
It's a game changer,
It is.
especially for smaller businesses.
Oh, yeah. Especially for them trying to compete with like the big guys.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It levels the playing field a little bit.
Right. Exactly.
Which is fantastic. And, another thing that really resonated with me in the guide was the sustainability aspect of it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Because it's not just about, ink on paper anymore. It's about doing it in a way that's mindful of, our environmental impact.
Totally. Consumers are more aware than ever of a company's like environmental footprint.
Oh, yeah.
And using recycled paper, eco-friendly inks, minimizing waste. Those aren't like optional anymore. Those are essential.
They're table stakes at this point.
Exactly. And that Print Studio Supervisor, they're right at the forefront of implementing all of these sustainable practices.
It's like they're not only conductors of the orchestra,
Right.
they're also like guardians of the environment in a way.
I like it. I like it. Sustainability is sexy.
It is. Okay, so we've got a good grasp, I think, of what a Print Studio Supervisor does.
Right. Yeah, there were a lot of hats.
They do. But how does someone actually become one?
Well, just like walk out of school and into the conductor's podium, right?
Exactly.
Right.
It's a journey.
It's a process. It's a career path.
Yeah.
So walk us through it. What are those career stages that, are outlined in that Print Studio Supervisor career stages section?
So it's kind of like starting as a musician in the orchestra
Okay.
and working your way up
Yeah,
to conductor,
yeah.
right? So typically you're going to begin your career as an entry-level print studio operator.
Okay.
And this is where you really get your hands dirty.
Okay.
You're learning the ropes, like how to operate the printing machines, assisting with the binding and those finishing touches, understanding those like all-important quality control procedures.
So it's a true like roll up your sleeves, learn from the ground up kind of experience.
Exactly, you got it.
You're getting a crash course in the entire printing process, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure.
From start to finish. From start to finish. And then as you build your experience, you prove your skills. You can then climb that ladder to a Print Studio technician role.
Okay, so you're moving up.
Moving on up, exactly.
Yeah.
And now you're not just operating the machines, you're the go-to person when there's like a technical glitch.
Oh, so you're troubleshooting.
Yeah, you're troubleshooting, you're training those newer operators, you're starting to take on more of those like leadership responsibilities.
So not only are you expanding your technical expertise,
Right?
but you're also honing those like crucial mentorship and leadership skills.
Exactly, which is so important, for those management roles.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you're not managing machines. You are managing people
Exactly.
at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
you have to be able to manage different personalities, different,
Right. Work styles, everything.
work styles. Exactly.
Right.
And then eventually you reach the peak, right?
The peak.
The coveted senior print studio operator.
That's everyone's dream,
I
right?
heard it.
That's the goal.
This is where you become the conductor of the entire orchestra.
Love it.
So you're overseeing multiple teams, you're streamlining those production processes
Right.
to make sure everything's running as efficiently as possible,
Mhm.
collaborating directly with management. You're basically the maestro of the entire print production symphony.
I love that analogy. It really brings it all to life. But I imagine getting to that conductor level takes more than just technical know-how.
Oh, absolutely.
What about those all-important soft skills that employers are always looking for?
So true. They're essential in any role, but especially, I imagine, in this kind of environment.
For sure.
So give us the inside scoop.
Okay.
What are some of the key soft skills that really matter in this, like, fast-paced, high-pressure print production world?
Yeah. Well, you've got to think about it. You're leading a team. You're troubleshooting problems like on the fly.
Right. Yeah.
And you're dealing with clients who have like tight deadlines and even tighter budgets. So the guide specifically mentions communication, problem solving, and time management as being like absolutely essential.
It's like being a project manager, but with the added pressure of making sure those colors pop and the paper stock feels luxurious.
Exactly. And you can't underestimate the importance of like active listening and social perceptiveness.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, you're not just managing machines.
Right.
You're managing people.
People.
Being able to understand your team's strengths, motivations, and even their frustrations is critical to keeping those presses rolling smoothly.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's about creating a harmonious and productive environment, just like our conductor with their orchestra.
Exactly.
Now, before we dive into the career resources from RoleCatcher, I'm curious about the interview process itself. What can someone expect when they're applying for a Print Studio Supervisor position?
Well, the guide suggests that it's a pretty standard interview process.
Okay.
They'll likely ask about your experience, how you handle quality control, how you motivate a team, how you've dealt with like unexpected challenges, that sort of thing.
So, pretty typical interview questions,
Right.
but tailored to the specific demands of a print production environment.
Exactly.
But how do you really stand out from the crowd?
That's where understanding the specific skills that employers are looking for comes in.
Okay.
And luckily, RoleCatcher has some amazing tools to help you shine. Have you ever used their AI-powered CV and resume builder?
I have. It's like having a secret weapon for your job search.
Right.
You upload your information, and it analyzes the job description to identify those keywords and skills that employers are looking for. And then, boom, it tailors your resume to highlight those key areas,
Yeah.
making you instantly more visible to those potential employers.
It's so effective.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because in today's digital age, your resume often has to make it past all of those like automated screening systems before it even reaches a human.
Oh, for sure.
So having your skills and experience presented in a way that aligns with the algorithms is so important. But RoleCatcher doesn't stop there. Their interview practice feature is a game changer,
Yes. Tell me more.
especially for those who get nervous in interview situations.
I was just about to ask you about that. It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
Yes.
You can practice answering those common interview questions. You can record yourself to see how you come across, and even get that AI-powered feedback on your delivery and content.
It's an invaluable tool for building confidence and refining your interviewing skills.
Absolutely.
So many people focus on just getting the job offer,
Right.
but RoleCatcher goes beyond that. They're equipping you with the tools and resources to not only land the job, but to excel in it. and build a successful career.
That's what I love about their approach.
Yeah.
It's not just about checking boxes. It's about empowering you to really own that career journey.
Yes, exactly. And in a fast-paced field like print production, where technology and industry trends are constantly evolving, having access to those continuous learning resources can make all the difference. So true. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from the conductor-like role of the Print Studio Supervisor to the importance of both technical expertise and those all-important soft skills.
Right.
But before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier. In today's digital world, why is print production still so relevant?
It is a great question.
Yeah.
And it kind of speaks to something fundamental about human nature, I think.
Okay.
Even in the digital age, we still crave, those tangible experiences.
It's true. Think about the difference between reading an article online versus like settling down with a beautifully printed magazine.
Right.
Or, scrolling through product photos versus holding a physical brochure in your hand.
Exactly. When you can physically touch and interact with something, it just hits differently.
It does.
It creates a deeper connection.
Totally.
It's a more memorable experience. And let's be honest, there's a certain luxury, a craftsmanship, associated with these high-quality printed materials that you just don't get in the digital world. It's like that feeling of getting a handwritten letter in the mail.
Right.
It just feels so personal.
Yes.
So intentional in a way that an email just never could.
Exactly. And for businesses, that emotional connection that print creates, it can be invaluable.
Oh, absolutely.
A well-designed brochure or a beautifully packaged product, that can elevate a brand's perceived value so much.
For sure.
And it can really leave a lasting impression on potential customers.
It's about standing out in a world that's increasingly dominated by, screens and digital noise. And I think print offers this way to kind of cut through that clutter and create something tangible that people can hold on to. Something that really represents your brand's essence.
Exactly. And like we've been talking about, that Print Studio Supervisor, they play such a crucial role in making all that magic happen.
They do.
They're the ones who understand the nuances of paper stock, the vibrancy of the inks, the precision of that entire printing process.
Right.
They're the guardians of that tangible experience.
I love that. Okay, so next time, our listeners, you're listening to this and you pick up a beautifully printed book, or maybe you get a really stunning invitation in the mail, take a moment to, appreciate the artistry.
Yes.
The skill. And yes, even the technology that went into creating that. And remember those conductors of the print production orchestra? The Print Studio Supervisors?
Yes.
The ones who help bring those creative visions to life?
100%. It's such a fascinating blend of art and technology. And it's clear that even in our digital world, print is here to stay.
Print is here to stay. Absolutely. And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be inspired to join the ranks of those print production maestros and create a little magic of their own. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.